Hi, good morning everyone. Let's get started with the next topic for this training, which is sizing for SAP GRC. In this topic, we will see how do we size the system properly, because there are a lot of components involved here and we need to make sure that we size it just correctly. Okay, so before we get into sizing, let's revisit the architecture. So you have NetWeaver 7.0 EHP2. Okay, these are the component, that is access control, process control, risk management, and you have the different RTAs. Plugins are here, and these are the end users which are accessing. Okay, so this is the architecture that we are going to size it. So select factors that influence the performance. So what are the factors that we influence? So number and type of target backend system. So how many systems we want to connect, so it will depend on that. So for risk analysis, for access provisioning, for role generation, for super user privilege management. Okay, so this is one factor. Business requirement, like total number of objects in each of the backend system. For access analysis, total number of risks and rules defined for access risk analysis. Average number of permission level violations per object in access risk analysis. Number of average roles per request and number of average systems associated per request. Here you can see that the number of systems you'll require, the bigger size, and more the number of roles you'll require, the bigger size. So make sure that your roles are properly designed so you don't end up in thousands and thousands of roles. So just make sure that the design should be pretty good. The number of risk depends on how many risks are there, how many rules are there, how many firefighter IDs are accessing the backend per hour during normal business hours. Number of access requests, how many new users or new requests coming in. Maximum number of concurrent real-time access risk analysis jobs. Number of objects in each real-time access risk analysis, and disk size depending on the number of violations, frequency of ad hoc analysis, etc. It also depends on number of clients also. So sizing of access control version 10.0 is based on the following assumption. Okay, so we will show you the t-shirt sizing, that is the sizing which we can use it as a base. So we will be showing you this, assuming that we have say 50,000 rules, risk analysis rule set, sizing of only access control version 10 server is provided. Okay, database is included within the sizing. So for small, that is 1 to 3 backend system with 10,000 users. Medium is like you have between 3 to 10 backend systems and 25,000 users. Large, you have 10 plus backend users with 50,000 plus users. Okay, so preliminary sizing guidelines for access control version 10. We have minimum disk size, minimum SAPs. Okay, so for a small system, we require a disk size of about 400 gig and SAPs is 2000 SAPs. So we will see how this SAPs, what this SAPs is and how we call this as a sizing measure. Okay, so for medium size 600 GB space and 4000 SAPs, and large 1000 GB and 8000 SAPs. So for any SAP system, it is sized in the number of SAPs required. So SAPs stand for SAP Application Performance Standard. So the Application Performance Standard is a hardware independent unit that describes the performance of a system configuration in SAP environment. So you have SD benchmark, okay, that is 6000 dialog steps and 2000 postings or 2400 SAPs. So this is how the benchmarks are created and defined, and they are used in turn to reflect into the capacity. Okay, so that is what actually I wanted to present in this particular training. Thank you for joining and have a nice day. Bye bye.